And welcome to That's Football. It's time. It's Manchester City versus Spurs. It feels like a long time since we've done a watch along on this channel, but I think everybody is watching this game tonight, aren't they? And I'm very, very excited to be watching it with all of you lot. So get in the live comments, have your say, tell us who you want to win. For me, no doubts. I've watched. In fact, I've said this so many times. We do seem to do a lot of Spurs watch-alongs on this channel, especially in the Champions League over the last couple of years. But Spurs quarter-final. Look, as a Manchester United fan, this is a game where somebody could stop them going through to the next stage, which would stop them doing the quadruple, which is what I want to be stopped. Man City are massive favourites in this game. I think that they are a better team than Spurs, but you never know. My score prediction, David, I'm going to go with... I think this one could be a score draw, to be honest, and then City will do him over next week. So I'm going to go 2-2. You could say I'm extremely late or I'm extremely early, Alderkin. One of the two things, but we're live and that's what matters. Liverpool versus Porto is better, says Ibby. Ibby, with all due respect, I didn't know Liverpool were playing Porto until half an hour ago. I had to check what the other game was tonight. I've heard nothing about Liverpool versus Porto. You know, I'm sure Liverpool fans are fully aware that they're playing Porto, but as a non-Liverpool fan, I've not heard anything about the Liverpool game. I didn't even know it was tonight. I really didn't. I'm sorry. There's two big games in this quarterfinals draw. Liverpool is not one of them. It's Man City Spurs, and it's definitely United Barcelona. They're the big ties. So I think if you're a Liverpool fan, great. You've got a game against Porto, a bye into the semi-finals. But this is where it's at. This is where it's at exactly. Spurs versus Manchester City. I want Spurs to win. I think they're up against it. I really do, but I want them to win. I'm going to talk in a minute or two actually about Manchester City's quadruple credentials and whether they deserve it or not. But everybody's welcome here. Jojo Smith is doing little blue balls, so I presume he wants City to win. Khalid Harb wants Man City to win as well. Fair enough. And Monzi says it will be 2-2 to Tottenham and 3-0 to Liverpool. Gavin Moran is going for a 2-0 win to City. No Mad Marcus tonight. He's gone out to watch Dumbo, Daps, which is a very apt video for him. Jaden says, I only knew Liverpool playing tonight because his friend told him he was a Liverpool fan. Look, I'm not even bantering Liverpool there. There's nothing to banter. You've got an easy game in the Champions League quarterfinals. Fair play. Well done. But I didn't realise they were playing tonight. I thought it might have been Juventus Ajax as the other game because I just heard nothing about it. It's not the quadruple. They can win 5 trophies, including the Community Shield. The Community Shield doesn't count. Any United fan who counted that Community Shield as some sort of trophy, it doesn't count. It's nothing. Just Jackler says, how can it be 2-2 to Spurs? Good point. I think Spurs would take it as a win though, wouldn't they? All I want is an entertaining game at the end of the day, says Samuel White. I've really just hurt my fucking knee. I don't know what I've just done to it. I actually have had knee ligament damage before in playing football. It really hurts. All I'm doing is sitting on a chair and it's bloody killing me like I've just done it. But anyway, we've had an early super chat here from Jonah Jones. He says, 3 English teams sets the Premier up as the place to be, says Jonah Jones. Don't tell Eden Hazard that. He's off to Spain in the summer. But let's go through the team lineups for you anyway, because I think many of us can predict these lineups. Let's start off with the away side, Manchester City. Ederson in goal, Kyle Walker, Otamendi, Laporte, Delph. Then you've got Gundogan, Fernandinho and Bernardo Silva, with Mahrez, Aguero and Sterling. Quite a surprising team for Man City, actually. John Stones on the bench. Laporte and Otamendi it's not a massive surprise, to be honest with you. But the midfield is Gundogan, Fernandinho and Silva. I really thought De Bruyne would have been starting in this game. And then Mahrez starting with Aguero and Sterling. Again, I really would have thought that we would have seen maybe Sane start instead. I didn't realise that... that is it David Silva or Bernardo Silva that's out then, one of the two, because that's a bit of a blow for them. But the Spurs team, Lloris, Trippier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Danny Rose, with Harry Winks, Ericsson, Sissoko, Ali, Kane and Son. no play. Yeah, that's quite a strong team for Spurs, actually. I was thinking who's missing. Davies on the bench, Lucas Moura, Gazzaniga, Foyth, Llorente, Wanyama, and Davinson Sanchez, with Company, Stones, De Bruyne, Sane, Gabriel Jesus and Foden, and Miric on the bench for City. But, you look at that City side, and it's a good City side, but Mahrez, Aguero, Sterling, I still feel myself that I'm in that club of not appreciating just how good Raheem Sterling is. But Mahrez, Aguero and Sterling, I know he said Starling, it's not a front three that I think is as good as what Liverpool have got, or but it works well in the system. And Gundogan, Fernandinho and Silva, again, I don't think that is as strong as it can be, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Imagine the Manchester United versus City final, says Connor Park. I tell you what, United will have to really do it. They'll have to do some to do that, won't they? Considering we've got to beat Barcelona and Liverpool just to get to the final. Spurs seem to have their strongest starting 11 tonight. I can see Spurs getting something tonight. Also, great content, Mark, says Sean Fullerton. Yeah, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. We might hit 67,000 subscribers tonight, which would be great. Tom Carter says, Aguero is the best striker in the world. What you on about? Well, it's all subjective and it's all opinion. It's all opinion, isn't it? My combined Man City and Spurs team actually didn't have Aguero in it. I went for Harry Kane, which lots of people didn't like, but it's my 11. I'll pick what I want, and I think that Aguero is a better player than Harry Kane, but it's my combined 11, and I want a striker who is actually good at holding the ball up and is decent in the air. And Aguero ain't going to do that. So it's always about opinion. It's not always about the best player. I've said this before. It's about building your best team. And my combined 11, I wouldn't just put players in there just because, whatever. But I just want to say very, very quickly about the quadruple. Like, my thoughts on a lot of people have been saying. Let me just get my words out. Let me have another little sip here. Right, so a lot of people have been saying Manchester City, quadruple, worthy, the media, everything like that. I actually disagree. I have a disagreement on this because I actually feel sorry for Liverpool in a way, because I was thinking this today, without question, this is probably one of the best Premier League title races in a long time. It's one of the best Premier League title races in its history over the last 30 years. It's not the best, but it's one of the best. Or it should be one of the best, but it's not. Realistically, I'm a Manchester United fan. We've probably got all sorts of fans here tonight. If you're a Liverpool fan or you're one of the few Man City fans, you're probably really feeling the tension. But as a non-Liverpool or Man City fan, I ain't feeling this title race much. All I'm feeling is I don't really know what I want, because I don't want Liverpool to win it, but I don't want City to win the quadruple. But I don't feel that as a nation or as a world, we're really getting into this title race. In some ways, it feels like the top four race is getting more focused than that race. And that's not Liverpool's fault. I mean, Liverpool might win the league for the first time in 30 years. This should be massive. Absolutely massive. I think Liverpool would be getting more focused, though, if they were away themselves. Like, it's just a matter of when, not if. But they're not. They're actually going toe-to-toe with Man City. But it's the Man City effect that's making this great title race sort of become a little bit mundane, because that's what Man City do. They've got this weird situation where the media in the UK love Man City. They absolutely love it for some odd reason. But nobody can make the people who matter love Man City, which is, the hardcore football fans, because we all support our clubs. But we will watch other things. Look at this tonight. United fan, me, you might have Liverpool fans, probably they're a bit busy, but Arsenal, Chelsea fans, they'll be watching this game as excited as I am. And it's not Manchester United playing, it's City against Spurs. But City have this thing where, no question about it, very, very, very good team, very, very good manager, but it just doesn't feel real. It doesn't draw you in. I mean, that Spurs stadium is absolutely sensational, by the way. But it doesn't that Arsenal fans must be gutted, but it doesn't drag you in. And that's what I mean. It's like this. If this was Liverpool and Manchester United going for this title, the world would be stopped. Their eyes would be on it every week. But because it's Man City, they don't really bring anything. They don't bring any excitement. They don't bring any major fan base. And I think it just goes to the fact that no matter what Man City achieve, unless they do it for the next 40 years, it just doesn't have any credence to it. It doesn't have any backing to it. Everybody knows it's just FIFA on cheat mode or Football Manager on cheat mode. That's what Man City are doing. So that's my first thing. As for the quadruple, look, if they win the quadruple, it will go down in history. I've got no doubt about that. It will do. But again, I would say it won't. It will mean something because the media will try to make it mean something. But if this is an unprecedented quadruple, I remember the United treble. And yeah, as a United fan, it was very exciting. But the world was talking about it, especially in the UK. For weeks, people were on and on about it. No one's really talking about this because no one's interested in Man City. And on top of that, you look at the run they've had. I mean, the FA Cup run is a joke. Burnley at home, Rotherham, Newport County, Swansea, Brighton to get to an FA Cup final. United got knocked out in the quarterfinals, but they'd already played Chelsea and Arsenal to get there. Man City, Burnley, Rotherham, Newport, Swansea, Brighton to get to an FA Cup final. I mean, look, you can only beat what's in front of you, but that's a banter run. The Karamat Cup, they beat Oxford, Fulham, Leicester, Burton Albion to get to Wembley. I mean, and then in the Champions League, Lyon, Shakhtar next, and Hoffenheim in their group. Piece of piss. Schalke in the first knockout round. Piece of piss. It's ridiculously easy for Manchester City. And I think that again, that's another reason why people just don't give it any credibility. I think, to put it in a sentence, and Paulo Holgeland says, thanks for taking time to put on a show for his Marky Mark, not a problem. I think the problem Manchester City have is that nobody really gives them any credibility because there's no battle. It's like Mourinho said the other day, if Pep Guardiola doesn't like his goalkeeper, he goes and gets another goalkeeper. Like, who was the goalkeeper that they had before Ederson? They spent a bit of money on him. I forget the name of him. Oh, he's not good enough. The right backs. Oh, I don't like that right back. Go and get me a new one. It's like they never really have to go through any struggle. Like, you look at Liverpool and I think about the Spurs game at the weekend, the other weekend, when they looked like they were going to draw. They could have lost it and they win it late on. They battle out these results because they're actually hanging on for dear life in this title race. They're getting there. They're getting these results through pure grit and determination. Whereas Man City, Pep, if they're struggling a little bit, like they're only winning 1-0, just turns to the bench and brings on another £400 billion worth of talent. It's, as I say, there's no credibility to what City do. It's just very easy for them. Like, they're in a league title race and they even threw a couple of games, didn't they, to Palace at home and Leicester away. But they're still in a title race. They're doing it in second gear because it's so easy for them. And I think actually that takes away from anything that they achieve. That's my opinion. I don't know what you lot think. We've had a super chat anyway. Red Baron, I know you like winter, but what about these light nights? Also, I'm jealous of Spurs Stadium. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. That Spurs Stadium, it's absolutely amazing. It really is. It's the first time I've actually seen it, so it's amazing. But we're very close to kick off now. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, whether Spurs, with that stadium, how much is that going to help them with the rest of the season to come? You know what I mean? Anyway, we've got nearly 2,000 people watching already. We're very close to kick off. And we can't show you the match, Ishan. I get amazed when people did they talk about that. Really enjoyed the United Stand video tonight, says Shortix. Thanks. And Mimi says, you're so obsessed, it's unreal. Mate, this channel is called That's Football. This is not Mark Goldbridge talking about Manchester United. Everybody is welcome on here. What am I obsessed with? What am I obsessed with tonight? I'm talking about my opinion on why we've got one of the best on paper title races ever, but nobody's really into it. And it's the Man City factor. It's not Liverpool's fault. It's Man City. Man City are going for a quadruple and nobody gives a shit because they just don't inspire. Because everybody, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, looks at Man City and goes, they're doing it on cheat mode, though, aren't they? I can't give them any credibility because they're doing it on cheat mode. You know, he has got an open checkbook, and that's the thing. Anyway, we're about to kick off here. I really, really do hope that Spurs win it. but I think it'll be tough for him. I think it will be tough. Yes, make sure you subscribe to the channel, everyone. We're going to try and hit 67,000 subscribers tonight, but we are just about to kick off here. Aguero in the, quite frankly, vile Manchester City kit, which is orange shorts and purple tops. They look like the dinosaur, don't they, off... I tell you what, keeper's got to be quick there. Catches it, and it's in the arms of Edison, but we are off. And let's see how this game starts. I hope Spurs really do turn up. I mean, let's not forget, Spurs have been playing at Wembley for a couple of years now, and they did get a lot of good results there, but I really think having your own ground will and should make a big difference to Spurs. It'll be interesting to see if Spurs spend money in the summer as well. I think that City team looks like you can get at it, but in fairness, they're, you know... Mark, would it be possible for you to check the championship scores at half-time, says Walrus Productions? Yes, I will. I'll definitely be looking at them a lot more than that, to be fair. It's a big night in the championship. David Silva's just dragged a shot wide from quite an impossible angle, to be fair. No timer, I'm afraid. I don't know what's going wrong with it. In fact, I do. I knew it was broken. I was going to fix it tomorrow for the United stand, but I forgot I was doing a show tonight, so I can't fix it for you. So I'll keep you up to date with the scores. I'm at 1 minute and 20 seconds, 21... 22, 23, 24, 25. So 1 minute 26, 27, 28, 29, 1 minute 30 for people who want to sink in. But fast start, which is good. To be honest, to Spurs, the stadium looks amazing. Reminds me of Adunga Park. Good for them, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. Yeah, good for them. That's what I say as well. I think this game isn't dissimilar to United's game against Barcelona. I think that Man City are obviously Barcelona and Spurs are United, and I think that's the sort of level of underdogness there is to this game. Casey Povic, which championship teams would I like to get promoted? Well, I think Norwich are going to get promoted, and although they wouldn't have been one of my first picks, Norwich are a team that throughout my youth used to be in the Premier League quite a lot, so that's quite nice. I think I've said it a few times that I'm just tired of seeing... I don't actually get a lot of joy out of... Oh, look, Burnley have been promoted. Oh, Huddersfield, Brighton have been promoted. That sort of thing I'm bored of now. I actually would like to get some of the traditional big clubs back into the Premier League, because I think the Premier League has now got a lot of teams in it where Chelsea are playing them, they're going to win. Chelsea, Huddersfield, they're going to win. I would like to see a Villa get back up. I would like to see a Leeds get back up. It's been too long. Some of the bigger clubs in the championships with big followings would be good. One of the Sheffield clubs would be nice. It'd be great to see a Bristol club get promoted. We've never had that, but I think clubs with a big fan base that are in the championship, really, it's about time they got back in the Premier League. Cool Jag says he's 2 hours ahead, and it finished 0-0. I don't think it's going to finish 0-0. C_ says he wants Tottenham to win. Who's everyone going for, by the way? I'm going to go for Spurs. Ryan Beals, very good comment. He says, hopefully Spurs can beat Mum's Credit Card FC. Exactly. And Merck LH says, does a new stadium really improve things? It didn't work for Arsenal. I don't think a new stadium can make you win the league, but I think what a new stadium does is it gives you a real atmosphere. It gives you a real feeling of, the crowd's on your side, and it's a bit of intimidation for the away side. Whereas I think Wembley for Spurs, they could never fill it really very often. And also, I think it inspired a lot of teams. Nick P, thanks for the contribution. He says, Brian Gunn is in my Panini sticker album, was always hard to find. Hope Norwich make it back. I think Norwich are looking very, very good for it. A lot of people want Spurs to win. There's the odd few people saying City, but I don't get that. But that, yeah, each to your own. Everyone's welcome on here. Little bit nip and tuck at the moment. People just Spurs just knocking the ball about a bit. City trying to press. Both teams play quite a similar way as well. 1-0 to Liverpool already. Kate has scored. I think they'll just cruise through that. Liverpool. It's basically it's a bye into the semi-finals. Anything Gaming says, evening, how are we all doing? Good so far. I'd say Man City in this, we're just coming up for 6 minutes in, and City probably dictating the play a little bit above Spurs at the moment, but you'd expect that. That's the sort of way City plays. I always thought Wembley was too big to be a home ground for a league club. It's too open, says Sharath Math Fitness. Yeah, Wembley's a bloody, it's a pop concert place, isn't it? It's a cup final place. There was absolutely no chance that Porto were going to beat Liverpool, by the way. Just not at all. She was only 11. Thanks for the contribution. I mean, as I just tweeted out there, Liverpool, it's a free ride to the semi-final. They could have played their youth team and got through. I'll be fixing the timer for the Man United game tomorrow, don't worry. I'd just forgotten I was doing a watch along today, so I hadn't fixed it from the weekend. Yeah, we're 7 minutes in now. Here we go. Sissoko down the left-hand side for Spurs. City have got loads of people back. Dele Alli, he should be scoring that. It's a lovely cross to him on the edge of the box. It's one of them ones, he volleys it, he catches it on the volley from the cross, and everyone goes, ooh, but I actually think a player of his quality should be hitting this on target. He feeds it into Sissoko, who cuts it back to him. That's on the volley to hit. I think he should hit I think he's got to hit the target from there. It's way over the bar. Like I say, it's one of them ones, it comes to him on the edge of the box, on the volley, and everyone goes, ooh, because he volleys it over. But I think he's got to put that in on target. I really do. Good chance that for Spurs. Yeah, Liverpool are winning 1-0. I think we established that a couple of minutes ago, but people are still going on about that. Shortix is right, I would have scored that. And I think Dele Alli knew I would have scored that, and that's probably what put him off as he put it over the bar. Because it was in the air for a long time, and I think as it came to land, all he had in his head was Goldbridge would absolutely bury this. Can I emulate him? And of course, he couldn't. Daps is synced with me. Yeah, if you want to sync with me, I'm on 8 minutes 30 at the moment. Just going past 8:35. So you can sync with me if you want to. But interesting start, quite an equal game, and I think that's what Spurs have got to try and do. Obviously, it'll be easier in the home game for them to do that, but they've got to try and keep this an even tie. Radiant Tenno says that Sissoko is a great ball winner. I think he's such an interesting player, Sissoko. I mean, I've seen him and I've just thought, how are you a footballer? And then sometimes you just think, he's just so he can have such an impact on a game. He's Sterling down the left up against Trippier. Good little run. He's nearly done it. Good block. And that'll be a corner. Lovely run by Sterling though. I mean, this is the reminder with Sterling that he actually is a very, 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 very good player. I think for me, it's him or Van Dijk for Player of the Year. And I don't know whether he's given a corner or a goal kick there. It is a corner. James says, I don't rate Sissoko. I don't know whether I'd want Sissoko at Manchester United, to be honest. I can't knock him that he's a decent player, but I don't know what's going on here. I think they might be looking at a bit of a... Bloody hell, potential penalty check for Man City. VAR. He's going to have a look. I mean, this is VAR for you. It's ridiculous. And there just didn't seem to be anything in it. Oh, I think it's because of the shot hitting Danny Rose. No. He can't be given a penalty for that. I think he will, though. I think he will, because that's what got given in Paris. Penalty given. I can't believe it. Absolutely disgrace. Can't believe it. No way is that a handball. That is a disgrace. I mean, seriously, let's have a look at the live comments. I'm absolutely stunned. I think that the disparity there is just, you know, it's just so unfair because, like, Man City are one of the best teams in Europe and they're being given things like that. It's nothing like what United had, and I thought that was we benefited from it, but he's literally, there's no distance. He's virtually on the floor, and they're calling that as a penalty. It's not deliberate. I just baffled by it. But Man City yet again missed the penalty. Get in, justice jam on toast. Stick that up your arse. Bloody VAR. Yes, justice, 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 justice. Have some of that, Aguero, with your crappy bleach blonde hair that wasn't even good in the mid-90s when Robbie Williams did it, and you're trying to look good with it now, you little shit twat with your bleach blonde hair. Who has that in 2019? Wasn't even good in the 90s, and he's missed it, and Pep's not even got hair, you bold twat. Lovely stuff. I hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate the fact that they had that penalty. I hated it. That would have been the tie over getting something like that. Spurs' heads would have dropped. But I actually think that referee's quite good normally. But that's a joke. Absolute joke. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But for me, when we've calmed down a little bit, that was never a penalty in the first place. Never a penalty. But justice jam has been served on toast, and it is still 0-0. Oh, God. FIFA skipped it. FIFA scripting is on. That's what I would say for Man City. As I was saying before, one of the best teams in the world at the moment, Man City, with their open checkbook, and then they're getting given 3 bloody penalties like that. I just don't think it was a penalty. I really don't. He's like 5 yards away. Nobody even appealed for a penalty. None of the City players appealed for a penalty. Like, that's the best thing about it. Sterling shoots 5 yards away from Danny Rose, who's on his way down. And he's virtually on the floor, and they give a penalty. VAR gives a penalty. Just a joke. VAR should not be getting involved in things that players aren't even noticing. That's a lovely ball by Kane into Eriksen. Got an overlap. Wait. Oh, look, he didn't want to give Spurs anything. 2 2 bloody fouls there on Spurs players, and he's going like that. But I tell you what, watch out for this referee. He is dodgy. He is dodgy. He's got his Man City pants on underneath. No, I don't, that's not a penalty on Kane. I don't know why Kane's clutching his face. Oil money strikes again, says BN30. Well, we've had a very interesting start to the game, that's for sure. Biz Miller, you can fuck off with your... you're already gone. Good. Well done to Ryan. David Wagner says, you're so biased, Mark. Mate, I will be biased against Man City. They're basically a club that are cheating their way to the top of football because they've got something everybody else hasn't got, which is oil money pouring through their veins. Spurs just need to get a grip on here. Joe Henrique says you're being biased. I'm not being biased. If City win this game through good football, fine and fair enough. But that penalty decision, I don't want that in football. That just ruins a game in the first 10 minutes that nobody even appealed for it. I'm actually being fair to City. They didn't even appeal for the penalty. And VAR go, oh, we think it's a penalty. We think it's a penalty because the ball hits his hand when he's on the floor from 5 yards away. And he got booked for it as well. I mean, that's the best thing about the referee. Fine, give the penalty if you're an absolute imbecile and you don't understand the game. But to book him for it, like that suggests that Danny Rose did it on purpose. It's just crazy. Son's in the box. It's a good game, though. Bish Vajit says, wow, you wanted it at United. Mate, if you watch the stream we did for United versus PSG, I was as shocked as anyone we got a penalty. I didn't think it was going to be a penalty. That is not a penalty from Danny Rose. Watch it back. His arm's proper down. He's like that. But, also, Manchester United are like underdogs against PSG and they get given a penalty. You know, I think it's a bit of there's a romance to that, isn't there? Man City, the world's richest club with the biggest advantage over everybody, gets given another freebie. It's the FA Cup all over again, isn't it? Let me read you out Man City's run to the FA Cup final. The richest club in the world with the most resources who can buy whoever they want. And their run to the FA Cup final. Burnley, Rotherham, Newport County, Swansea, Brighton. For fuck's sake. Talking about buying a quadruple. Come on, mate, says it hits his hand in the box. What do you expect? I expect you to go and read the rules, mate. Because just because a ball hits somebody on the hand in the box doesn't mean it's a penalty. So you've outed yourself there. Doesn't matter. That's not the rule. The rule book does not say ball hits hand in the penalty box, it's a penalty. That's not what it says. It says there's got to be a deliberate act. And he obviously feels there is a deliberate act because he gave him a yellow card, which is a load of bollocks. Daniel Hopkins, it was a penalty and I'm a Man United fan. I think that's one of my favourite comments in the world. Oh, it's a penalty and I support somebody else. You must be right then, Daniel. I'm sorry, I take it all back. Daniel's a United fan and he says it's a penalty. If that's in the rule, that is in the rule book. If a fan of a rival says it's a penalty, it's a penalty. We can all stop discussing it now because Daniel supports Manchester United and he says it's a penalty. So it clearly was. What were we all moaning about? I disagree that his hand was in an unnatural position, to be honest. He's sliding in. You try and slide in with your hands down behind your side. This is the thing about non-football people getting involved in football. It's like Ed Woodward running Manchester United. It's non-football people getting involved with football. You cannot slide in to block a shot with your hands like a fucking pencil. You just can't do it. It's not natural. So they've totally and utterly... They don't understand body graphics or dynamics at all. They just don't. You cannot slide in to block a shot like that with your hands by your side. So what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? Saying you can't dive in anymore. Anyway, you know what the best thing is? I'm going to change my mind here. All you people saying it was a penalty. It was a penalty. You're fine. And he fucking missed it. So, he missed it anyway. So, it doesn't even matter. I don't care whether it was a penalty or not anymore. In fact, just for the pure banter that he missed it, I'm glad the ref is a bit dodgy and gave a stupid penalty because he missed it anyway. So, that's the bottom line, isn't it? To be fair, it was a penalty and I support DTFC, says Lewis Toma. Someone's got to, I suppose. I think Lloris is finally off them herbs. Great save, Sarath Kamath Fitness. I can't wait to play DTFC because basically they're going to be the Man City of the fan football clubs now. The amount of money he's got behind him from everybody who lives up his arse. I think you're going to have to be a complete cretin dickhead to play for that team. I mean, do people not have any morals these days? They're basically... It's the X Factor generation, isn't it? I'll do anything to try and get myself on TV. Even wear a shirt that says DTFC on it. I would rather go to work naked and sit on a bag of nails, sharpened, than put a DTFC shirt on anywhere near my body. I wouldn't even wipe my arse with it. But some people are actually going to go and have trials to wear that shirt. I mean, how low do you have to get? Imagine wearing a t-shirt with Twat Face's bloody logo on it. I mean, it makes no sense, but some people will do everything. That penalty's got me... One thing is, this stream's going to be very interesting now. It sometimes takes a while to get me cooked, and I'm cooked tonight. That penalty has certainly turned the heat up in the kitchen, so I'm up for this tonight. Let's have it. But it's a very equal game, to be honest. A very equal game. And I said that before the penalty. Spurs have just got to keep this equal. I don't think it'll end 0-0, but if it did end 0-0, that's not a terrible result for Spurs, is it? 2 United physios decided to leave before Ollie arrived due to Jose. Now injuries plaguing us. Jose lubed us again. Where's the lube emoji? Haha, says T Ballard. Aguero missed the penalty, Beast Boy. And who bleaches their hair in 2019? It's a really serious question. We went through a phase of it, I think, in 1995 or 6. I remember Robbie Fowler doing it. It looked stupid then. And here we are, 20 odd years later, and you've got Sergio Aguero doing it. He looks an absolute prick. Harry Kane, bit of space. To Son, smack it. Oh. Must be an Argentinian thing, come on, mate. Yeah, because he says that Messi bleaches his hair too. Go on, Deli. Ali. That's a foul, yeah. Give a penalty as well. Oh, what did he play on for there? Harry Kane had a good chance, but... I think it was a bit half-hearted. I don't think they really thought they were playing on. Hey Mark, how are you? Where is Mad Marcus? Says George Ramos. Mad Marcus is watching the film Dumbo, which is a very apt statement because who would go and watch Dumbo when they could be watching Spurs Man City? too bad passes for Ivan Vertonghen there. Would you swap Lukaku for Kane marks as Daniel Dryber? That's a bit like saying, would I swap an empty packet of crisps when I'm starving for a full one? Of course I bloody would. Lukaku's not a top 6 striker, Harry Kane is. Lukaku is an Everton striker, that was his level. The mistake everyone made is they thought he was a top 4 striker, and he's just not. His record against the top 6 is about as good as mine. Has he got 1 goal in 17 games or something like that? He's a flat track bully striker. He's a Kevin Phillips. That's what he is. He'll score you 30 goals a season as long as he's playing in a team that gives him loads of chances, and most of his goals come against teams that are not in the top 6. I love people who come in the live comments, make a really outlandish comment. 1, think I'm going to react to it, and 2, even worse, think I'm going to read it and then get blocked and think, oh, that worked, didn't it? So I read it, I think you're an absolute cunt, and then I block you. So that's what happens, but you don't get any credibility or a readout. 26 minutes gone exactly. So quite an eventful start. I'd say that City, 66% possession for City. Actually, I hadn't thought it was that much, to be honest with you. But they're into the box here with Mahrez. And I think Danny Rose could have given a penalty away there, you know. On a yellow card, Mahrez skinned him and he shoved him to the ground. And I think the referee, probably a little bit out of sympathy there, thought I won't give a penalty. But that one looked more of a penalty than the handball to me. 2-0 to Liverpool. What a surprise. Harry Kane with a chance there. Probably about the best chance of the game apart from the penalty. You know, in the World Cup, I really thought Trippier was a really good right back, but I don't think a lot of Spurs fans actually agree. Well done, Dele Alli there. He's fought really well. And Laporte will probably get a yellow card. And he will. Dele Alli, to be fair, I think Dele Alli is a bit like Jesse Lingard. You know, I sometimes wonder what he's all about. But today, he's been a right handful. A right handful. Done well. Thanks, Michael Rain. It is getting better, yeah. I'm still a little bit off, but I wouldn't have done this tonight if I didn't feel I could do it. So I've been suffering with a bit of a sore throat and a cold, but the main aim was to be fit for tomorrow night's game. But yeah, I think I'll get through this one as well. Anyway, cross coming in from Eriksen here to the right. 27 minutes 50 seconds gone. Eriksen doesn't even beat the first man. One of my pet hates at Manchester United. Trippier. Ooh, decent shot by Winks that, but over the bar. I think Harry Winks looks like a bit of a B-Tech Colin Farrell, the actor. Danny Rose coming down the left-hand side. Another corner. Make sure you subscribe if we're new. We're only 80 subscribers away from 67,000 subscribers, so that'd be nice to hit tonight on the channel. I must just say, I do my FIFA Manchester United career mode on here. I left it at a really critical point. I think I'm 5 points clear of Man City in the league, but I've got Liverpool and Man City coming up in the league. People have said, why have you not played it for a few days? Because I've not been well. And I don't want to play FIFA not well and mess up a critical point of the season. So I'm waiting just to get better. But the ball is in the goalkeeper's arms. Ederson has it. And nothing coming of the corner there as we approach the half-hour mark. Spurs are the home team, Kevin, in their beautiful new stadium, if I may say so. It is absolutely fantastic. And I think I'm right in saying that Spurs now have the second biggest attendance, second biggest capacity stadium in the Premier League after Manchester United. Funnily enough, they had the biggest, didn't they, when they were at Wembley? But that's not their ground. The minute I'm watching right now, I've just gone past 30 minutes exactly. Hazard or Raheem Sterling, who's better, says Louis Barwood. I'm going to say Sterling because I live in the now. And I think that Raheem Sterling this season... Look, Eden Hazard is a goal. Straight at the keeper. Terrible defending by Spurs there. Really deep cross from a free kick. And they're all... well, he's offside, that's why. Yeah, he was offside. But the others weren't offside on the back post. Really weird defending by Spurs. Now Trippier looks like he's injured. Yeah, Hazard scored a fantastic goal last night. I'm not going to not give him credit for that. It was against West Ham. I think a team that's got anybody decent doesn't let that happen. But Raheem Sterling's been doing things all season in a team that's going to win the league, and I think that makes Raheem Sterling better. And for anybody who says, "Oh well, Sterling plays in a better side," I think there's no reason that Chelsea team shouldn't be in a title race. They were at the start of the season. I hope our stadium will never be called as the Emirates or the Etihad or the Amex Stadium, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. See, I've just seen that handball by Danny Rose again, and it's like, where is he supposed to put his bloody hand? He's diving in to block a shot. You can't naturally dive in with your arms by your side, but this is it. You put non-football people in charge of football decisions and they get messed up. Like the PSG one for United. He's jumping up in the air. Anyway, Aguero missed it, so there's no problem about that. Apparently Porto should have been given a penalty, says Stephen Diak. There you go, Anfield. Thanks for that, Callum. Thanks for that, Sally, for getting rid of the tosser. I think this game's gone a little bit dull. I don't know about anybody else. It has gone a little bit dull in the last few minutes. Currently, Oliver Kahn, I am in the 33rd minute and a half. Can't wait for United Barcelona tomorrow night. Just cannot wait. It just seems a long time since United played as well, which is always gets you that little bit more excited. It's going to be a tough game, but really excited about it. Can't deny it. Cracked game, and I agree. I think if Arsenal get top four, Emery's done an amazing job. Here's Sterling with a bit of space down that right-hand side, left-hand side. Cracking tackle by Sissoko. It was in the box as well. He had to make it. I can't believe Fabian Delph plays left back for Man City. I mean, he's basically a shit footballer, but it just shows you what Pep can do. Ooh, Barcelona fans in the live comments, up yours. Where are you from? Macclesfield. You just support Barcelona. You got no affiliation to them at all. You were just shit at football and you wanted to be relevant, so you thought, I'm going to support Barcelona and Messi. There's absolutely loads of Barcelona fans in the UK, and it makes no sense at all. It's the epitome of being an absolute glory hunter. Merit Odios says, while watching the game, this gives me hope of tomorrow against Barcelona. Tottenham are causing Manchester City a threat. Yeah, I think it's the way to go. Definitely the way to go. I said that at the start of the game, didn't I? That Spurs are basically United tonight and Man City are Barcelona. They're the favourites and Spurs aren't. So Spurs staying in the game. I knew somebody would say that. Ex-Pisto says the guy supporting United. No, mate, I didn't wake up be shit at football and when I was about 14 think, how do I become relevant in the football world? I know I'm going to support Barcelona even though I'm from bloody Norwich. You know, I support Manchester United because my family supported Manchester United. My family support Manchester United because of the people like the Busby Babes and George Best. So I support Manchester United for a reason. If I wanted to be a complete knobhead, I would have decided to support Barcelona for no bloody reason other than I want to try and be relevant in the football world. Anyway, free kick here for Ericsson, and then we've got a super chat to read. Let me just put my rod away for a moment from all those Barcelona fans. God, I've caught so many. Both times into the wall. Son. Oh, God, it's pouncing about a bit. You'll be offside, Son. Seeing all the clubs in the top six renovating or developing new stadiums begs the question, why isn't there any conversation about United building a new stadium, or at least planning to renovate and expand Old Trafford? That's from Ziad Al Adil. I wouldn't want Manchester United to be building a new stadium. I would like Manchester United to be renovating the current one. And I think there has been a little bit of discussion about it. And there is certainly the capability of doing it. There is a possibility that could happen. It costs a lot of money though, and as you know, our owners don't want to spend money, so why not? Why would they? All Barcelona fans think Earth is flat. #plastic, says man with a GoPro. And Vicky189 says that, is there something unique required to win the Champions League? United, Madrid, Liverpool win irrespective of domestic form. Dortmund, Juventus, Arsenal never won in peak domestic form, says Vicky189. It's a good point, you know, Vicky. There seems to be a sort of club for winning the European Cup, and some people just can't join that cup. Aguero shoots, Aguero wide. DD18 says, so you're saying people who are not from Manchester are only supporting Manchester just to be united, just to be relevant. Mate, you need to get yourself to doctors tomorrow and clean your ears out. I've just explained to you exactly why people support Barcelona. They do it because they're shit at football, and they support Barcelona because Barcelona are always going to be one of the best teams in the world, so they want to feel relevant. Manchester United are nowhere near, and haven't been anywhere near, being the best team in England for 6 years. So anybody who started supporting Manchester United in the last 6 years clearly aren't doing it to be relevant. And actually, Manchester United have got the biggest fan base in the world and have had that fan base for a very, very long time. So most people like myself will be second, third, fourth, fifth generation Manchester United fans, which is irrelevant because none of my family's from Manchester. Who is worse, Stan Kroenke, Woodward or Mike Ashley, says George Ramos. I think they're all cut from the same cloth, aren't they? Jacob says, those Barca fans are basically your family. They support Man U because they were good. You see, mate, I should never have read that comment because it's just, you're trying to wind me up and you'll never do it because I'm the king of baiting fans. And like, you've used Man U because you know it's disrespectful for one, and for two, I've already told you my family don't support Manchester United because of fame or anything like that. Manchester United had never won the European Cup when my granddad started supporting them. My granddad supported Manchester United before the Munich tragedy, when Manchester United were a young, exciting team in the 50s. So I don't think glory hunting even existed then. TV didn't even exist then. So, you know what? Get back to wanking in your Messi shirts and start to understand what real football's all about. Or maybe start supporting a team from the country you actually bloody live in instead of supporting Barcelona because you're shit at football and you like tossing yourself off to Messi pictures. Next. No, of course it's not all Barcelona fans guitar battles live. No, of course it's not. 100%. You know, some Barcelona fans will be absolutely credible top football fans like most of us. What I'm talking about is specifically a lot of people on social media and a lot of people in the UK who go round with 10 Messi Barcelona shirts and it just doesn't make any sense. None of their family supported Barcelona. I should have said that before. None of these people walking around with Messi shirts in the UK, none of their family supported Barcelona before them. They've got no Spanish heritage. Their dad didn't used to like Maradona or anything like that. They basically are people who've just picked out the best team in the world with the best player in the world so that they can feel powerful. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's the most known thing in world football. Jack Maguire makes a good point. Do you think Heung-min Son is better than Sterling? I think if you'd asked me around January, I probably would have said there's a debate there to be had. But Son has gone quite quiet, I think, the last couple of months, whereas Sterling's just been very consistent. For me, I don't know who you lot think. Get in the live comments and let me know. I think that the two players that deserve Player of the Year are either Van Dijk or Raheem Sterling. And there are a few candidates at Liverpool and City. You know, Bernardo Silva's been very good for City as well. I think at Liverpool, Mane's been quite good as well. But they'd be the two that stand out for me. Spurs have done all right in this game. I'll tell you what, if they could get a goal, it'd make it very interesting. City defending quite well though. I mean, that's something that Pep has bought literally with his credit card. He's bought a good defence at Spurs. At City. There used to be that thing where, you know, City would concede 3 but score 4, but they actually are quite a good defensive team now. God, McCaulfield Liam says it's got to be Hazard or Van Dijk. On what planet is Eden Hazard anywhere near Player of the Year this season? I mean, seriously, what Chelsea fans do with Eden Hazard is, there's no doubt Eden Hazard's a good player, but what they do is they basically give him a free ticket. So he scores a world-class goal against West Ham last night, and they're all like, oh, look at what a player he is. He'll go 10 games where he does sod all, and it's like, oh, it's because he's playing in a shit team. So he gets an absolute free ride for all his consistent shit performances. And every now and again, he'll do something that's really, really good. And it's like, oh, he's really good. Do they not understand that Eden Hazard should be doing the really good stuff every single game? That's what makes you Player of the Year. That's what makes you world class. He doesn't do it enough. But Chelsea fans will say, oh, it's because of the team around him, which is total nonsense. You know, if he was playing for bloody Brighton, I'd give him a free ride. But he plays for Chelsea, full of internationals. James Barker says Hazard has had the most combined goals and assists in the league this season, Mark. I don't give a shit about stats. I don't give a shit. I've watched my videos over the years. You will have heard that statement. Stats to me don't really mean anything. He plays in a Chelsea team where he should be having far, far more influence than he does. And you can say, oh, he's got goals and assists, whatever. Where are they in the league? Nowhere near the bloody title. And they should be. If he's the best player in the world, you should have far, far better stats than that. And I don't think he's had a very good season. I don't. I really don't. And, you know, I'm not even getting my rod out here to bait you. I really don't think he's had a very good season. I don't think he'll do anything at Anfield at the weekend. And I don't think he'll do anything at Old Trafford a couple of weeks after. In the big games, I don't think he will. It was a crap penalty by Aguero. I think they're trying to say that Lloris was off his line a little bit, but all goalkeepers do that these days. What would your team talk be for the players tomorrow, says James Farnell. I think that Manchester United just need to concentrate and believe and give everything that they've got and don't let their heads drop. I think they let their heads drop too often, you know. Lewis Corsten says, you're a melter, no one likes you. That's your last comment, Lewis. You've been trying to do it for ages, but we've got over 3,000 people watching, so I think you're the one who's now sat having a pot noodle and a wank, aren't you, really, while we continue our conversation like grown-ups. McTominay marked Hazard out of the game last season, enough said. Says sub 2-2. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to jump into Hazard's defence there, which sounds really weird, but McTominay had a shit first half in that game you're on about, and Willian and Hazard were absolutely rampant at Old Trafford for the first 45 minutes. We won it in the second half, and they disappeared in the second half. But talking of which, it's 0-0. It's half time, and is it a good game, Mark? Says Andrew Wright. We had a very, very big moment. I don't really want to talk about the penalty anymore. Suffice to say, I don't think it was a penalty. A lot of people did. It was a VAR review penalty. Danny Rose on the floor from a Sterling shot. His hand is slightly up, but he's virtually lying on the floor. He's sliding in to block a shot like that, basically. It catches his arm there. The VAR goes to a penalty. Interestingly enough, no Man City players appear to appeal for the penalty at all. VAR gives it. He books Rose as well. I mean, there's just no way he should have been booked. It's not deliberate. And also, as I said, whether you think it's a penalty or not, how are you meant to slide in for a tackle when you're virtually on the floor and keep your hands by your side? It's just unnatural. Anyway, whether you think it's a penalty or not, I'm quite happy to say it was a penalty because it was given, but he missed it. So it's 0-0. I'd say Spurs have probably been the better side. It's quite an equal game, and it's the sort of game that Spurs will just, if they don't concede in this game, I think they'll be very happy, and it keeps it just about open for the second leg. Liverpool, I think, 3-0 up at half-time, apparently. And Josh Gilmore says it definitely wasn't a penalty. It's a bad call. I don't think it was a penalty, but what I don't understand more is why he got a yellow card for it. Timmy H says, Mark, I'm off to Old Trafford tomorrow. Where can I find the fan cams? They're outside Hotel Football. That's why they do it. That's where they do it. What shall we talk about? We can talk about what you want. I'll talk about anything on That's Football. It's not the United Stand, so we don't have to start talking about, tactics and stuff like that. I mean, personally, I think in the second half, Spurs just need to keep doing what they do. I don't know what you lot think, actually, though. Just to talk about the game for a moment, I feel that when I saw City's team without De Bruyne, without Bernardo Silva, with Mahrez on the right and Gundogan in the team as well as Fernandinho, I did just feel that that's not City's strongest side, and they're there to be got at. And I think Spurs have done that. It would be nice if they could get at them a little bit more, but I certainly think it is there to be done. Who would you take from Barcelona except Messi, says Sergej Gapoyan. Who would I take from Barcelona except Messi? I wouldn't take Rakitic, although we are linked to him. I just think he's just a bit too old. Same with Busquets. Probably the same with Vidal now, to be honest. So that's the one rule with those lot. PK's too old as well. Longley and Umtiti, I don't really think that they're top centre-backs that we need. Suarez over my dead body. I'd rather shit Glass. Coutinho. You know what? It's a really interesting question, but when I go through the Barcelona team, there are very, very few players that I would take from their side for very different reasons. Suarez, I could just never do it. Coutinho, because he was at Liverpool. Their midfield, I just think is too old for what we're trying to build. Their centre-backs, none of them, I mean, PK apart, none of them are what we need. And I don't really... Well, you'd take their right back, wouldn't you? You'd take Semedo. You'd take Semedo because he's better than the shit that we've got at right back. Their goalkeeper's not better. And their left back's not better than Luke Shaw. So it's amazing, actually. The only player I would take is their right back. There we go. Ousmane Dembele, I don't know. He worries me a little bit. I probably would take him, though. And Jordi Alba's good. But he's not better than Luke Shaw. Z says, can Tottenham knock City out the quarterfinals? I'll bloody love it if they did. I ultimately don't think they will, but I'll bloody love it if they did. Because then, once Man City are out of the Champions League, I don't mind if they win the league. It's that simple for me. I've said it on this channel. If City are going to win the quadruple, part of me wants Liverpool to win the league, as bad as that is. But as soon as City can't win the quadruple, which basically means we need them to be knocked out of the Champions League, I'll rather City win the league. Here we go. Jordi Alba's way better than Luke Shaw. Mate, that's your opinion. You could say that Longley, PK, Vidal, Rakitic, they're all better than Herrera and Lindelof. I'm not going to argue that. What I'm saying is, who would I take? I don't need to take players that I think are marginally better. I want to take players that are going to improve my team, and I don't think Jordi Alba for Luke Shaw makes sense. We need a centre-back, a right-back, a midfielder, and a right winger. Messi can play right wing, Semedo can play right back. But I don't want Jordi Alba. I've got Luke Shaw. I'll stick with the players that I've got. I'm not a mercenary fan. I don't just discard players that I think are part of the fabric of my club and are good players. I'm not just going to do it because there's a slightly better left back who's got no affiliation to my club. I don't like that sort of support or mentality, to be honest. It's like saying, I'm going to get rid of Marcus Rashford just because Icardi's better. Not going to do it. Marcus Rashford's Manc born and bred, youth player. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get rid of Martial for Hazard. No, I wouldn't. Just watching that Danny Rose thing back, there is nothing he can do. I know his arm's up a little bit, but he's sliding in to block a shot. He can't put his hand down. It's been given though. And actually, he's trying to bring his arm down anyway. The referee needs to learn about body physics. And I like that referee. He's normally quite good. Paolo Horgeland says, Mark, why did you ignore my Super Chat question? I wouldn't have ignored it. I probably just missed it. Lily Green says, why are you so grumpy this evening? Because I don't feel very well. But I wouldn't say I'm massively grumpy. This is like my fitness test to be back for the Barcelona game tomorrow. What are they saying in the BT studio about it? Because I haven't got me audio on. Still half time. Liam Jenkinson says it was the same thing as the PSG one, to be fair. No, it's not, Liam. It's not. I'm not having that. I'm not agreeing with that because it's not the same as the PSG thing, because the PSG player is jumping in the air like that. He's jumping in the air. Danny Rose is going to the ground. Your arm movements are going to be very different when you're sliding in to make a tackle. Bottom line, it's been given, and we've got to get used to those being given, I suppose. We saw it in the PSG United game. Nesta Flex is going to Spain next week, yeah. Lucky. Isn't Tuesday grumpy day for Mark, though? Yes, it normally is, actually, Podger. You're right, it is. Who's dominating the game, Mark? Says Lorenzo Luxford. I'd say it's probably 50-50, to be honest with you. Vubnish Gupta says, if Messi and Ronaldo ever play together, do you think they'll clash and the team will suffer, or do you think they'll play fantastic together? We'll never see it happen. But I think that they could have worked well together, you know, because I think Messi's such a clever player, the way he drops off, and Ronaldo's quite happy to play, on the high line. I think they could have worked well together. I mean, the only thing is, would they score enough goals to satisfy both players' absolute amazing goal stats? Rohit Yadav says, do you think Manchester United will be in the top 5 teams in Europe under Ollie in the next 3 years? No, I don't. I think that's a stretch. I do. I think United are a long way away from where they need to be. I think they can get results like they have done, but I think consistent results are a long way away for United. Yeah, I thought so. Somebody just said there, the studio pundit said no penalty, but the studio ref said penalty. They're all going to stick together, but the reality is it was given, and I think the debate would have been stronger if Aguero had scored it, and maybe he should have scored it, but he didn't, and I felt that justice was done. I do. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Right, that reminds me, let's have a quick look at the old Championship results, because lots of interest around that because of Premier League, and interestingly enough, Leyton Orient are losing 2-1 in the National League as well, and they're top of that at the moment. That would make it very interesting for teams such as Salford and Solihull Moors. But in the Championship, Derby are drawing with Blackburn. Sorry, if you're a Derby fan, you might have had a little bit of concern there. Bristol are beating West Brom 3-1. Leeds are 0-0 with Preston. Sheffield Wednesday are beating Nottingham Forest 1-0. Swansea are beating Stoke 2-1. And Middlesbrough are 2-0 up away to Bolton. So that's how that's going. And there is some championship fixtures tomorrow night as well. But yes, interesting. 0-0 in this game. 0-0 in this game. Which I think, to be frank with you, I think that both teams would probably come away with that okay. I think Pep Guardiola won't be happy with it. His team score goals for fun, and they would want an away goal going into that second game without question. Vicky189 says, Mark, I agree with Jose that City's success is bought and plastic, but how the hell was that moron any different at Chelsea from 2004 to 2007? Hypocrisy. Vicky, you've made two very good comments tonight. Thanks very much. And I think you're spot on there. Jose Mourinho is a hypocrite. He comes out with things that make sense every now and again, but he's an absolute hypocrite. He said the other day, if I'd had the patience that Klopp's got, maybe I would have got the results. But Klopp played good football. He's always played good football at Liverpool. That's why they're patient with him. He plays shit football. And yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, just very quickly on Jose Mourinho. There is a massive amount. I mean, some people don't believe in luck. Some people say you buy your own luck. But there's two big parts of Jose Mourinho's brilliant Wikipedia page, right? Everything he did at Chelsea, he did with money. Everything he did at Real Madrid, he did with money. Everything he did in Inter Milan, he did with money, domestically. He won a Champions League with Inter Milan and a Champions League with Porto, which to me were the two big standout things because they were far from the better teams in Europe. The one he won with Porto, for anyone who's old enough to remember the two games against us, especially the second leg at Old Trafford, it was luck. We should have knocked them out. We had the chances. We were the better team. It was our own fault we got knocked out. But they were lucky. It was one of those games, so to speak. And then the Inter Milan, when they beat Barcelona in the Champions League, it was just part of the bus luck again. So Mourinho's Wikipedia page could have been very, very difficult. They're very, very different. And to be honest with you, I think if he hadn't have got lucky with Porto winning the league, and they were a very good team, the Champions League winners, but they were lucky against United. If he hadn't won that, he might never have got the Chelsea job. So Mourinho, he talks like he's some sort of magician. He doesn't actually take... he's never humble enough to admit that parts of his career were based on luck. Because part of the bus football, you need luck. Chloe Jenkins says, you might see Rojo tomorrow. Ollie watched him play in the under-23 game. We'll see. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. We've gone past 67,000 subscribers, which is great. Lots of things coming up on this channel over the next few weeks. I will finish the FIFA career mode. And obviously we'll be back this time next Wednesday for the return leg of this with a watch along as well. Liverpool 2-0 up over Porto. I think they're trying to make something of this penalty of Aguero. I'm just watching it here. I don't know whether somebody comes into the penalty box or what. I just think that those sort of things are irrelevant. They're trying to say that Vertonghen encroaches in the penalty box. Well, it happens all the time. Mark, do you think Herrera and Matic are injured or injured like Valencia and Fellaini were before being moved on? Tyson, if we're not playing Matic and Herrera because we're moving them on in the summer, we're an idiot football club because we need top four. And I don't think we'll get top four without those two. So... second half's about to kick off. I'm looking forward to Arsenal versus Napoli, Monzi. I'm not looking forward enough to watch it, do a watch along about it, but I am looking forward to it. I think, I really do like Napoli. I think Arsenal will come through it. I think English teams are still stronger than Italian teams, but it'll be an interesting game. And Arsenal are in a difficult position because After that loss to Everton, they've got Watford away on Monday night. They could find themselves out of the top 4 quite quickly, and then you sort of need to win the Europa League. So they've got themselves in a difficult situation, which I remember when United were in the Europa League, and it's like you want to prioritise one, but it's not easy to prioritise one when you don't know which is the best one to prioritise. I think a week ago, Arsenal might have thought if they beat Everton, we need to prioritise top 4. And maybe we don't give it everything in the Europa League. But after that loss to Everton, it's like, bloody hell, maybe we need to prioritise that. So they've got to prioritise both, which is very difficult with the squad when you're playing so many games. So, interesting. Anyway, the game has kicked off. We're 45 minutes and 55 seconds in. And I think both teams have played quite similarly, really. Both teams want to press the ball and make the opposition make mistakes. Here's Aguero. Into Sterling. Low shot, and Lloris spills it, but it's cleared by Alderweireld. Dara Carr says, Mark, what would your ideal Manchester United starting 11 be? At the moment, I would go back to Herrera, Matic and Pogba in the midfield with Rashford and Lingard and Martial front 3. Delo right back, De Gea, Smalling and Lindelof and Luke Shaw. Next season, I'd probably change 7 players if I could. Samson Musa says Spurs will not be in the top 4. I think you need to look at Spurs running. I think Spurs will be in the top 4. They're the one I really think will be. Ooh, good shot by Son there. He was quite confident the way he hit it from outside the box. It had curl on it, and Edison, I think, had to move a little bit late, but didn't go for anything other than a goal kick. But I think Edison's just about got it covered, but it's a nice whip on it. There's something about Son that's very Ronaldo-esque in the way he moves and his physique, I think. Bit of a B-Tech Ronaldo. I think City are looking a little bit more dangerous at the moment on the attack. Well, Raheem Sterling's just sent 2 players out there. Gives it to David Silva, and that'll be a corner. Corner to Manchester City then. 48 minutes and 30 seconds in. Hey, calling Son a B-Tech Ronaldo, that's not a criticism. Ronaldo is one of the world's best ever players. I think Son would be quite happy to have that correlation. Sonaldo, you see, yeah. Mark, if you could sign 2 players and get rid of 2 next season, who will it be, says Ben Cassell. I would get rid of Ashley Young, and I would get rid of Matic, and I would sign Koulibaly and Verratti. I've had a contribution here from Ben Castle, which I've just read. Good tackle. Come on, Spurs. It's Ronaldo. Shoots. Low. And it's at the keeper. So, good game. It's kicked off a little bit fast-paced this second half again, which is good. Spurs have certainly, the gap. I mean, the interesting thing is Spurs have got to go to City in the league, haven't they? I must have a quick check when that's going to happen. It's not this weekend, I don't think. No, it's not. It must be... Yeah, so Spurs play City tonight, obviously. They play them again on Wednesday in the second leg. And then on the Saturday afterwards, they play in the Premier League. So, 3 games in 4 games. They play each other. It's only this weekend that they're not playing each other. But the interesting thing is that, Spurs, from a Liverpool point of view, could be absolutely that league game at the Etihad be very interesting. Paolo Hogeland says, if Tottenham beats City and wins Champions League and Arsenal win, you're not good enough for Champions League trophy. United might need third. They might. There's a lot of if, buts and maybes. Olivier Orney says Man City will batter you. Well, I personally won't play Man City, so they won't batter me. If you're talking about my club, which is Manchester United, to be honest with you, I might be in a situation as a United fan where I want Man City to beat us anyway. Who knows what we're going to think at that time. Edison's just gone down from a collision with his own player. And so City can wait. They know it's too late, says Jens Borville. Classic Oasis. Ooh. Leeds have scored, apparently, says Rakovan Nah. And Edison is down, clutching his bum, I think. He's banged his bum on the floor. Who would you take from Juventus, says Caleb Jones? Ronaldo. I do like Alexandre, but again, I wouldn't take him because I've got Luke Shaw, and I don't want to get into that debate about whether Sandro's better than Shaw. I just wouldn't do it. Who else would I take? I wouldn't take any of their centre-backs because I don't think Bonucci and Chiellini, as good as they are, would be good in the Premier League because of their lack of pace. Cancelo, I would take him at right back. Pjanic, I think, would be very good for United. I think Emre Can would be better than bloody Matic, to be honest with you, but he used to play for Liverpool. Who else? I would never take Mandzukic. I think he's absolutely shit. Douglas Costa would be good as well. Dybala I would take. I do like Dybala, but I've always said the thing about Dybala is that he is quite inconsistent. I'd be worried about spending any decent money on Dybala because he can be quite quiet. Bernardeschi, I love him. Wilma, I love Bernardeschi. I think he'd be a very, very good player. Anyway, 55 minutes gone. Still 0-0. Whoever said it was going to be 0-0 at the start of the game and I mocked them, they could be right. I think if Man City score first, they'll win the tie. An away goal will be massive for them. Bernardeschi and Bentancur are two great players and underrated to Sharath Math Fitness. I love Bentancur as well. They've got some good players, Juventus. They have. Very physical game, says Nafiana. Yeah, I think it's been an interesting game. It's been a lot closer than I thought it would be. I do think Man City have probably missed Bernardo Silva. a little bit. I mean, how long's Bernardo Silva out for, or is he suspended? I don't know. What's the story with Harry Kane? That's just terrible bad luck for Spurs. I think Harry Kane's he's done. He can't even walk on his ankle. That's probably tie over for them. Looks like a broken ankle because he couldn't walk on it. I tell you, I've said this about City. They've had more luck this season than I've seen any team that's going for like multiple trophies. Like I said, their cup run has been a farce. Their Champions League run has been very easy as well. And here they are, 3 massive games against Spurs, and Spurs lose their best player in the first one. Kane ain't playing anymore. He literally he's done his ankle. Delph absolutely just... sort of stood on it. His season will be over, says Marvin Million. Definitely. Definitely. But Spurs are very similar to Manchester United. Like, they should have bought last summer. They should have bought in January. They've not done it because they want to build the stadium, etc., etc. And that's all well and good. And I'm not a Spurs fan. But if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be like, but we might miss out on top 4 because we haven't spent money. Thanks for the contribution. Awesome Spuds MC. Good running from Lucas Moura here. That'll be a foul. And a yellow card on Riyad Mahrez. I think the problem is Spurs lose that pace and physicality up front now that Kane would have been very, very, very useful in the second leg at the Etihad. But 59 minutes and 10 seconds I'm at the moment. Jaden Beckham says they've got more chance of winning without Kane, in my opinion. I think in the home leg it might not make a big difference, but away from home, you want to be able to hit a ball up to somebody up front who can hold the ball up and relieve the pressure a bit. It's a different sort of game, isn't it? I think that's where they're going to miss Kane, is in the 2 games at the Etihad, in the league and in the Champions League. A lot of people in the live comments are saying that City are actually a very, very dirty team. And Sally Devil Red says, how many naughty tackles did City make and don't get pulled up? It's Pep tactics. There's something about Pep Guardiola, I remember it from his Barcelona days, and he's continued it at City. It's called the first phase foul. you do the naughty foul right early on. You don't wait for them to get near your penalty box or anything like that. When they break in their own box, that's when you do the foul, because you don't normally get booked for those sort of fouls, but it kills off their momentum. Spurs on the attack at the moment, though. So Harry Kane's off injured. And half an hour to go. H. Monzimon says Pep has admitted in the documentaries they do tactical fouls in transition. The thing is, though, look, you can't argue about, the injury to Harry Kane is significant. The problem is Spurs don't have players to come in and replace that sort of quality up front. But, if Aguero pulls up, we don't moan about it as much because they've got Gabriel Jesus on the bench and they can just make that change. And, if Sterling gets injured, they've got Sane on the bench. And if David Silva gets injured, they've got De Bruyne on the bench. And that's what money buys you. It buys you a proper squad, doesn't it? A squad that's just, it's unlucky if you get an injury, but you've got so much depth, so much money spent on it, and Spurs just don't have that depth. They lose one of their better players, they're in trouble. And to be fair, United are the same, and it's not the same excuse for United though, because we've got a massive squad full of shit. But if we lose 2 or 3 of our best players, we're in trouble. Des0XR says this could galvanise Spurs. Remember the last time Harry Kane was injured? Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of late winners though, didn't they, in the league, Spurs, when they didn't have Harry Kane. I don't know whether they can do that again. Raheem Sterling again. Lovely little run. Well done, Lloris. Off his line very quickly. Offside. 63 minutes we are on. Just have a quick look at Spurs fixtures, because people are saying, Harry Kane out means that Spurs might win. Sorry, Harry Kane means that Spurs won't get top 4. I mean, that's the sort of scummy thing Arsenal fans will say. But if you look at Spurs fixtures left, they've got Huddersfield at home. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got, in the league, City away, which, they'll probably lose that. But then they've got Brighton at home, West Ham at home. So their games they should all be winning. And then in May, they've got Everton at home and Bournemouth away. So I think Spurs would expect to win a lot of those games with or without Kane. Mark, why is no top teams linked with City players, says Charles B. Probably because they don't want to leave. They're on good money, having an easy ride. RTG expected a better game. I think they've cancelled each other out more than I think a lot of people thought they would. I think City would be happy with a score draw. I think Spurs, if it's going to be a draw, would probably take 0-0 because there's no away goal. So it's interesting. T. Kryzan says, I think Spurs are going to nick this game. Somebody might nick it, not because that's stating the obvious, but because it has been that sort of game. And there's still, 25 minutes to go. Lucas Moura came on for Kane, Joe Flannery's right. The trouble is now, when Spurs want to hit a longer ball, they haven't got anyone to hold that longer ball up. We just saw it there. It's very easy for Otamendi and Laporte to just dominate Lucas Moura. So Spurs don't have an out ball to, go from their centre-backs to the halfway line. They've got to pass through Man City now, which will cause them more problems. Faison Shamin says, Mark, are you an alcoholic? When's the last time you've seen me on a stream having a drink? Like, I have a drink every now and again on the stream. How does that make you? Do you know what you should do before you start accusing people of being something when you don't know anything about them? You should actually read what it's all about. Andrew Kamar says, my God, look at City's players warming up. FIFA cheat mode, mum's credit card. Call it what you like. That's what Man City is. Didn't exist before 2008. Now look at them. They're on the verge of buying an unprecedented quadruple. Dramatic Fall says, Liverpool 2, Porto 0. Thoughts? My only thoughts on that are absolutely inevitable. Sane, Jesus, De Bruyne all warming up on City's bench. Exactly. They'd walk into probably any team in the Premier League, those three. I think Sane is a fantastic player as well. I can't, I can understand it, but it's Gundogan's gone down here like he's been shot. I don't think it was a foul, to be fair. Let's watch it. It was a foul, but he makes a meal of it. So Gabriel Jesus is coming on. Yeah, I think Leroy Sané is a very, very good player. Not been used much this season though, has he? Here's Dele Alli, bit of a chance. What are you going to do, Dele? You took too long there, you missed the chance, and you shoot at a City player. Terrible. There's Dele Alli in all his glory there. I just don't get what he's all about. I'd love to see Pep and Jose manage at Brighton, see how good they actually are, says Red Jedi. Exactly, that's exactly what I would like to see. Swap places with Eddie Howe for 6 months and see how Pep Guardiola does, and see how well Eddie Howe does with unlimited funds. Winks has been class, says Jake Bullman. I like him. I think he's a really good player. Mark, if United ain't playing Herrera because of contract, it's a disgrace. That's David De Gea's mate. He won't sign if he's been made to treat like that like they need a director of football, says Ben Cassell. And Sanjeev Kumar, why do people off that channel call you Bren? I didn't know they did. Give me more information, Sanjeev, and I can give you more of a reply. When did this happen? How recently? What, and I need more. Des Zero, yes, Leroy Sané reminds me a lot of Ryan Giggs as well. He's not coming on though. It's Gabriel Jesus coming on for Aguero. Jet says, you guys are stupid. Not everyone does well with a lot of funds. A lot. An example of that is Chelsea. Jets, go and have a look how many titles Chelsea won before they had money. And now have a look at how many titles they've won with money. I'd say they've been successful because of money. Zed Jamie says that Eddie Howe would be swallowed up at Man City with all that money. But yeah, you might be right, Zed Jamie. I'd like to see it happen though. I'd like to see the manager that does well at a tiny club, what they do at a big club with a big budget. But I guarantee you that if Pep Guardiola was given the Bournemouth job, they wouldn't do any better than Eddie Howe's done. They'd probably still play good football, but he wouldn't make them into anything better than Eddie Howe's done. Because that's their limit. Sean Stevenson says Leicester didn't have cash when they won it. Well, I don't think anybody said that you need money to win the title. I don't think that's always the case. But with Leicester, they really did catch it well. They really did catch it well. You know, they caught it. They were ridiculously consistent, fair play. And also, everybody was absolutely shit. The top six. I think Spurs were the only one that were quite good that year. Yeah, I'd agree with football, actually. He says that she says Pep would have failed at United. I think Pep would have failed at Manchester United, yeah. I do. What he did at Man City was get things in place before he even became the manager. There was people like employed by Man City in the year or two before who were Pep's sort of people, getting the sort of right deals in place, etc. If Pep had been given the United job, he would have failed. And that's not totally because of Pep. It's because of United as well. The way the club's run, the board. Pep would have failed at United. But more importantly, he would have failed because of the squad he would have inherited. Not many players in that squad are Pep Guardiola sort of players. Herrera maybe, Mata maybe. Apart from that, City are starting to come into this game a little bit more now. 15 minutes to go. I can sense a City goal. And they'll want an away goal. Of course they will. Why wouldn't they? Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be happy with this if it was Old Trafford tomorrow night. I'd take 0-0 at Old Trafford, to be honest with you. And people say, oh yeah, you need to take a win to the Nou Camp. I think the Nou Camp's a completely different story. I think when PSG have been 4-0 up from a first leg, and then gone to the Nou Camp and lost, was it 6-1? Doesn't matter what lead you take to the Nou Camp, really. If Man City was a Star Wars character, who would they be, says Chris Sparks. Who's made of plastic? I don't know. Would you take Wanyama at United as awesome Spuds MC? No, not really. If he's not good enough to start to Spurs, why would we want players like that? United need to buy players who are world-class players to improve. We can't take any more cast off. Oh, my mia. Tired. I think this game's tired me a little bit. It's been more of a tactical battle and a little bit less exciting than... I mean, it's been... I enjoy these sort of games. I do. I like these sort of games. But, they're tiring to watch. Jabba the Hutt, says Jake Bullman. Good point. Trade Federation, says Chaz, definitely spot on. Even though you're talking about something from the shit films, you're right. But I think Spurs are starting to get to that they're a bit rugged at the moment, and I can see there being a City goal. Good block. City going through the gears now, pushing for that winner. Quality starting to show. Spurs looking a bit on the ropes here, and it's all City laying siege. Now Son's down injured. Fucking hell, for Spurs, this is a bloody nightmare. Yes, that's definitely not a foul by Danny. A red card, handball. Pep saying handball again. Look, Carl Walker saying it's a handball. It's his bloody arm close to it's his shoulder next to his body. I tell you, if they've lost Son as well, they're in a lot of bother. I think he's going to be all right. Yeah, I think Son's going to be okay. Spurs need to try and get something going in the City half this last 10 minutes because City are starting to... Spurs are just missing Harry Kane. They can't get the ball. They can't keep the ball in the final third. And that's what Harry Kane brings to you, that strength and ability to hold the ball up and feed others in. They're hitting long balls, but it's just very easy at the moment for people like Laporte. But there we are, Spurs. Got a little bit of ball in the final third here. Into Son. Oh, bad first touch. It's good. I think it's... Is it a goal? They've not changed the score. It is a goal for Spurs. I thought that they were going to look back in VAR whether the ball had gone over the line or not. But Sanaldo strikes for Spurs. I thought the ball had gone out. That's why I didn't react so much. But Spurs have gone and done it. Well, no. This is it. I think it is going to get reviewed. I thought it had gone out. It's a lovely ball by Eriksen to put Son in. He takes it down. It looks like it's going to go out. It's not gone out. It's not gone out. Don't worry. And then he skips past Delph and blasts it home against Ederson. And Man City are trying to say, ball's gone out. I can see from here, that is not gone out. Nowhere near has all the ball gone out for that. So City, sit down. Literally, sit down. It will be a goal. It is a goal. And lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. I was a bit concerned, even watching it live. I thought the ball might have gone out, but it's definitely stayed in play. Ederson, crap goalkeeping, really. But there we go. 1-0. I think City were hoping for VAR to save them. No. Lovely ball by Eriksen to put him in. He could have been in easier if he took his first touch right. But Fabian Delph, the Ashley Young of left backs. We can change the score. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because I thought Man City was looking more likely to score, but Spurs actually getting the ball. I think Ederson looks like he might be a bit injured as well from that clash earlier on. Blaster. Son with the goal. Pep will be thinking, this is what happened to me last time. This is what happened to me last time against Liverpool in the Champions League quarter-final. I got knocked out. Halfway house for Spurs. Remember, Spurs don't travel well, though. Whatever happens in this game, it's a massive ask for for Spurs to do anything in the return game at Etihad. But Wanyama's come on for Winks. Tyson Marley says, I wish we can get a retro kit like 99 back soon. Recent kits have been horrible. Also, Chevrolet can do one. Horrible logo. Ruins the kit. Sharp needed. Well, it's all about money, isn't it? I think that what's pleasing on the eye should be what counts. But obviously United will go with whatever sponsor wants to put the most money in their pockets. And I think the Chevrolet one looks shit. And also, in the UK, there aren't many Chevrolet cars. There we go. Spurs on the attack again. If they could get a second with Lucas Moura. Knocks it into Ericsson. Over the top for Danny Rose. But City will try and clear. And they will clear. Imagine if Spurs could make it 2. City look lost at the moment. They're not used to playing in front of 60,000 fans that are absolutely engaged and excited. Cross comes in, it's cleared. Now George Kyle just said that if they can stop City getting the away goal, it's massive. It really is. That away goal's huge now. If they stop City scoring, of course Man City can win the second leg. Of course they can. But no, they've got the overlap here, and Spurs have got rid of it. But still, probably about 10 minutes left in this game. Yeah, but if this game was to end 1-1, City have got that advantage where they can be in a position at the Etihad where they just go for it. If it finishes 1-0, they'll still go for it, but they'll have to be worried about the old away goal because they won't have one. We got about 10 minutes left in this. I think we're in the 84th minute. I love how shit Fabian Delph is as well on that. The way he gets skinned, absolutely shit defending. If any United player isn't up for tomorrow, sell them, says Red Jedi. Anybody who's saying Aguero scored is a dickhead because Aguero has not been on the pitch for about 10 minutes. So we're on the 85th minute. Spurs on the attack at the moment. Llorente's coming on. Dele Alli's hurt his hand. Sam Brown says, is Kane's season over? All I saw with Harry Kane is they were taking him down the tunnel. He had a physio either side, and he had his leg. He was sort of hopping on one leg, not on the other one. And the tackle from Delph was right on his ankle. So worst case scenario, he's broken his ankle, isn't it? So Dele Alli's coming off for Llorente. Spurs, these next few minutes are massive. .86 minutes and 40 seconds gone. Still 1-0. And Son's just shot over the bar then. Half a chance. To be honest, Spurs should have got Son up against Delph a lot more. I think he's got the beating of him every single time. I wonder what the story is with... does anyone know what the story is with Bernardo Silva then and De Bruyne? I mean, he's not even brought De Bruyne on, or Leroy Sané. It's... I can understand why he's not brought Leroy Sané. Well, no, I can't actually. I don't think Mahrez has played very well. I don't think Gundogan's been that good either. I'm quite surprised that... is De Bruyne just not fit or something? Oh, here comes De Bruyne and Sané. What a surprise. So Mahrez comes off for Sané, and probably going to be De Bruyne for Gundogan. I probably would have done that a few minutes sooner. Well, he's took him off for David Silva actually. And Sharath Kamath Fitness says that Bernardo Silva has a thigh injury. I mean, he's a big loss for City, Bernardo Silva. I mean, everyone gives Raheem Sterling the credit he deserves, but Bernardo Silva's been very, very, very good for them this year. Whereas De Bruyne has been hot and cold, hasn't he? Old Fanta Pants. He's had a few injuries and... Hi Mark, just want to credit you on your great content across your channels and a belated happy birthday to you. Thank you, Mark Witten. It'd be a nice little present if City don't score here, because I don't mind Spurs, but it's more about I want City to get knocked out so they don't do the quadruple, and then I can want them to win the league. But I don't want them to win the league at the moment because I'm worried about them winning the quadruple. Although, I think if City were to get knocked out of the Champions League... Oh, there's someone on the bloody pitch now. I think this is becoming a too regular occurrence, you know, in football. People running on the pitch. Five minutes have been added on anyway. Mad Marcus on the pitch. Well, this is the thing about Champions League or Europa League or whatever, or any tournament that's got away goals in it. 5 minutes to go, 1-0. You think, oh, is it going to make a big difference? But in the grand scheme of the whole tie, City not getting an away goal is quite a big thing. So this next few minutes is really big for Man City. And to be honest with you, tell me a chance that City have had this whole game, apart from the penalty, that's been like, oh yeah, we should have scored that. There's not been many big chances. Foul to Spurs. 6 minutes added on now. It went from 5 to 6. Hell's bells. Yeah, because of that person who ran on the pitch, isn't it? DDG, you're right. Spurs are just messing about with the ball a bit here. But, to be fair, Lloris is confident enough to just keep it with the Spurs player. Llorente, and that'll be a throw to Spurs. Pep's pointing at his head. That's not going to make it grow back, mate. I might play FIFA tomorrow, Chris Sparks. I'm hoping to bring FIFA back tomorrow, lunchtime on this channel. About 1:30. Danny Rose, have a look. Son. Oh, tell you what, he could have put a better cross in than that. It's in the keeper's arms, Ederson. Tell you what, Danny Rose has had a good game. He has had a good game, Danny Rose, I've got to be honest. Man City on the attack, though. Still 3 minutes left. De Bruyne with the cross. It's into Lloris's hands. And that's that. Still a couple of minutes to go. I think we might have had a Porto goal. Have we had a Porto goal? Let's have a look. I don't think we have. No, full time 2-0. Liverpool and Porto. That would have made it very interesting if they had, but they haven't. It's 2-0. And here's De Bruyne running up against the Spurs defence. He should have chopped him down there. It's Sane. He should have chopped him down there. Mark Whitten says, watching Iker Casillas play for Porto still upsets me. We're just seeing a Sane sandwich. Now, I think this will probably be the last opportunity for Man City to get anything from this game. The big guns will come up. It's De Bruyne on the free kick. He can deliver a good free kick. And I think what he'll be trying to do here is whip it with curl towards the back post. But if no one gets it, it goes in the goal. Lloris punches. It's a bad punch. And it's over the bar. And it's a goal kick. And I think that'll be it for Spurs. Well done to Spurs. Good win for Spurs, this is. Sets it up perfectly. We'll be doing a watch-along next. It's Wednesday night, isn't it? Because United are tomorrow night on Wednesday and Tuesday. So this is the Battle of Britain, or England, because they're both English clubs. Spurs will go into it 1-0. Will Harry Kane be out for the season? I don't know. We'll wait and find out. But thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Cracking win for Spurs. And City just weren't that good. And I have been saying this all season, that I think City are capable of dropping points. I always feel that they are capable of dropping points or losing games. So really, I thought the penalty was dubious, but Lloris saved it anyway. Apart from that, I don't think Man City did a hell of a lot in this game. I don't think that's the strongest Man City team. They haven't got Bernardo Silva. They had De Bruyne on the bench with a few other very, very good players. But City didn't look that good. And obviously, Harry Kane going off injured with half an hour to go, you'd think City would take control from there. They didn't. And Spurs did. So 1-0 to Spurs, sets it up brilliantly for the second leg. I'd still have Man City as firm favourites, but no away goal makes it very, very interesting. So thanks everyone for watching. I will be doing my FIFA career mode on here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.